Please go ahead. And
just sitting in a dignified posture, feet on the ground. You are with cross legs, your legs on the cushion or the mat. Your arms and hands over your thighs, or perhaps the hands together on your lap. Being grateful to the space in which we are sitting, for giving us the opportunity to get together to explore the meaning of being human, the meaning of being alive, and the responsibility that this implies. We are already complete. We are the Sataparna. But we are still in the process of awakening. And the first step on this process is dharana, concentration. Noticing first the body and how the body is feeling in this moment. And being thankful to the body for being our home, the seat of our consciousness. And noticing the breath. That is the one that makes all things, all these things possible. Has been with us since the moment of birth and will be with us until the end. And is always in the present moment. When I breathe in, I know I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I know I am breathing out. Becoming aware of the sensations of the in-breath in the nostrils, and noticing how with the in-breath, the chest expands, and also the abdomen. And with the out-breath, both deflate. Noticing with curiosity allowing our mind to calm down by relaxing into the process of breathing. By being fully aware when the air moves into the body and when moves out of the body. And now from our own center, the center of your being, we are going to send positive energy to everybody that is suffering in this moment around the planet, but mainly in India. To send clarity of mind and strength to those who are helping others that are struggling. To bring efficiency in their efforts to alleviate suffering. And we can do that by breathing in, and when we breathe out, send those wishes all over the place for those who need it in this moment to get them. May all be safe. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all be free from inner and other danger. May all be free from fear. Sending good wishes to all. Allowing love from this group to span all over the place. To be available to those who need it. To place our hands into their hands. To give them comfort in these moments of difficulty. And now, how are you feeling today in this moment? Imagine that you can place yourself behind a waterfall, within the rock, behind a waterfall, like a little cave, that maybe you can sit over there, or maybe you can stand in a firm way and see how the water is falling in front of you. With the sounds of that water falling. How are you feeling today? Allow your thoughts, allow your feelings to be in front of you as that water that is falling down. Allowing them move freely as you are a witness of their presence. Not being trapped by them, but noticing them, thoughts, feelings, your emotions. And perhaps sometimes some of that water will reach you, and that is okay. Just allowing it to flow. And from our own centers, saying goodness all over the place. To the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, expanding in all directions. The best that my heart can give, reaching the hearts of those who are in need. With clarity of mind, with no interference, with pure perception. When I breathe in, I know I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I know I am breathing out. And now we can open our conversation, and you can talk in any moment that you want Today I thought of putting a little meta or sending good wishes all over, because the situation that we are seeing in the media all over the world about what is going on in India, but not only there. You have it also in Brazil, in Mexico, but India is the one with more difficulties in this moment. And I think sending these good wishes is tremendously helpful. Doesn't look like, but it is. And there are so many people that will benefit for the simple action of putting our hands in their hands. And that is pure dharana, or concentration. Because there is no distraction. When there is pure love, there is no distraction. It's just unity in that particular sense. And that is meditation, and sometimes it's very good to do. But I was wanting the topic of this month was the whole of ignorance, concentration or dharana, also in Tibetan is samatha, that I consider or label with the word to stop. Stop, breathe, relax. Concentration, dharana is to stop here, now. Is it. To come to the present moment, to awake into the present moment. The sage Tsongkhapa from Tibet, 14th century, he went through the whole country for several months, visiting the different monasteries to explore the process of meditation. And he reached the conclusion that the first step, the more important step to start the process of meditation, was precisely what Patanjali tells us is dharana, samatha, concentration, to bring the awareness to the here and now. There are many instructions about how to do that, including Blavatsky was teaching Anivesan how to concentrate. I don't know, you have read it somewhere that in a glass with water, put a needle with a little oil or a little butter and let it float, and then put the hands together and concentrate until make the needle to turn in one direction or other direction. But the more important instrument that we have, tool that we have to bring the awareness to the here and now is the breath. Is the breath, because it's always with us, it's always in the present moment, and is the one who can help us when the mind gets very distracted to come back to the here and now. The idea is not only sit every day and do a little practice, and no. The idea is to bring this to daily life and bring it to all our activities. Being in the doing. Being in the doing. Whatever you are doing or you have decided to do, be on it, 100%, with no distraction, with total dedication, with full passion, no matter if he's doing dishes, writing a book, or doing some scientific exploration. In your profession, we can practice that. And it's so rewarding, and at the same time, it's so helpful in the way of helping the mind to calm down, training the mind to move into the next step, the practice of meditation that we are going to move into this next month. It's funny because I was checking in my library with tons of books and I found this of Muni Sadhu. This is in Spanish, but it's the concentration techniques. And he was a disciple of Ramacharaka. And now I remember, as I was seeing the book today, that I did some of those exercises when I was in my 30s, in 1970s. And in one of those, I got tremendously scared. When I was taking all these things very seriously, and I says, okay, I'm going to do this practice. And I decided to develop colors in my brain, just by lying on the bed, thinking on red, and then when the whole head became red, thinking on orange, and a little spot of orange came, and the whole thing came orange, thinking on yellow, and the whole thing. I spent, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, doing that with tremendous intensity. I was just following instructions from the book. And when I reached the last color, my whole head exploded. And I saw like a nova, a star, a new star exploding in my head. And I told myself, Fernando, is it? Not anymore. don't do those crazy things because you can put yourself into trouble. Okay? Methods and all that, there are many. There are many. But the more important thing is to keep as simple as possible. And another I'm going to mention, after please tell whatever you want to tell, is one that Stefan Holler, I don't know if you know Stefan Holler, another theosophist. Yeah. The Fool's Pilgrimage. He lives theosophist for many years, a Jungian theosophist. He lives in Hollywood. I went to visit him a few years ago with my wife. He told me a dream that he has 1 or 2 years before. He saw in the tarot the whole major arcana, the 21 cards, standing like chess pieces, figures, all in a circle, looking to each other, the 21. And in the center was the Fool. This one was the Fool. And to whoever the Fool or to the became the Fool. My interpretation of this, every human being is playing a role in life. We are having our own movie, and we are the main character in our own movie. And we have all other characters in our life that are part of our movie. Sometimes we take more people in, sometimes we take people out. That says, I don't want this person in my movie anymore, in my picture. But the Fool, the adventurer, is present in every single human being, helping us to awake. Helping us to awake. Is that light, the light of consciousness, that don't have any restrictions. And all this gives me ideas. I did other practices many years ago. But anyway, anything that you want to talk about dharana that can give more light or comments?
There is a comment on the chat.
Okay.
From Ganesh.
Okay.
Could it not be that most of us are unable to concentrate or even reach the level of dharana because we are trying to attain the final effect, the cause, for which should be preceding 5 angas or the Ashtanga yoga? If only all of us master the first 5 angas of yoga, the result must be the stages of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, ?
Yes, it's tremendously important, but the first yama and niyama are like the commandments in the Catholic tradition and the Christian tradition, or you have the foundations of mindfulness also. That is essential, that everybody practice all those things. But that doesn't stop us to come to the here and now. That is not the excuse to be able to be fully in the present and to notice who we really are and have interest about what is our role in life. I have tried many of these different things. I took the yoga with the group of Sivananda, with Swami Vishnu Devananda in the ashram of Canada. I was there for 2 months. I have Swami, what was his name? I don't remember now his name, Swarupananda. That was exclusive for Pratyahara. We have another teacher for pranayama. We have another teacher, or several teachers for asanas. We have another teacher for whatever. But at the end, each individual need to find their own way. Need to find their own way. Is my conclusion. When I was working in a printing place here in the United States, I decided to do all the tarot cards, the major arcana, one by one. Some practice that I read in another tradition that was in the north of Africa. And this practice was to sit, I did it in my lunchtime in the car, sitting in my car while having my lunch. I took a little break, put the full, and memorized the full by noticing the car for 3 minutes. Then closing my eyes, reproducing the whole card figure in my head. And at the same time, noticing my feelings. I did that for 3 days. The next 3 days, I took the emperor. And the next 3 days, I took one by one and noticing the feelings. I did that through a period of 1 month or something like that. And that gives some incredible abilities to the individual.
Then we have a comment from Shikar. Thank you for the wonderful session. Doesn't feel like talking. Greeting to you. That is sometimes it happens. You want to continue the silence you get. Any other questions?
I have a question,
Robert.
Renato. With this awareness and this and more of being present, I'm finding that, you know, it's like the old world that I was living in is no longer there, and I'm entering this new world, and I seem like I'm the only one that's in it. And so it's, in one aspect it can be very lonely, but in another aspect lonely in the human sense, but not lonely in the spiritual sense. So, and I'm finding it difficult to, you know, I'm finding it difficult to, you know, merge the two. And so it was more of a question, because the meditations that we're doing, and I do those the you know the what's that, you know, the meditation that you sent, the one that goes for an hour, I forget it now off the top of my head.
The body scan, the
Yeah, the
CT?
body scan. I do that every day, and I'm feeling, some days I get up and I don't even feel my body. It's like it's not even there. So you know, it's for me, it's working really well. But yeah, I even forget my question now.
No, it's
But
okay, but the experience that you are telling is very, very interesting, you know. And again, that is what I try to, we are all different. For that reason, to follow the same pattern that this one did or the other one did, or that because this sage did this, no, we need to find our own way. We need to explore all those things and see what they are telling us. But we need to move through them and see what really at the end is helping us to be better, more useful, and authentic, and give ourselves to life the best way we can. Because in that relationship is when we are able to grow. You said you feel like you are by yourself, but if you are completely by yourself, my feeling is you cannot grow, because growing comes through conflict, through difficulties, through you know, and there is where in the field of the master, discernment, you know, that this is the right thing or is the wrong thing, etc. And at the end, the last step, this coming month, we are going to do what is the next step, that is dhyana and vipassana, in according to Tsongkhapa. And then the last month is the choiceless awareness of Krishnamurti, or contemplation. The first is the stop. The second is breathe and move in and see what is the fogginess there that need to be cleared up to be able to perceive. And then you move to the choiceless awareness, to full perception that we are mentioning. Yeah.
I am sorry. Yeah. I've been finding that these, because I've been listening to them. I've been listening to the meditations again, like a couple of the same ones a couple of times during the week, and it's really, I don't know. I've ever since we started it, it's probably the most dedicated I've been to doing it, and I've felt a big shift quite quickly, and it's so, whereas I don't know if anyone else can probably understand what I'm also saying. They probably do, of course they do. I'm starting to I'm starting to hear the difference between a thought and something else coming in. So like there's a thinking, but then there's also something that's coming in to do. There's
And where do you feel that coming in?
Well, it sort of just you know, it sort of just imprints itself in a way, and I've been letting it go and not acting on it. But the other day I woke up and I'm like, you know, maybe I should start doing what's coming in, like, because I never do it. I just it comes in and I'm sort of like, oh, that was random, and then I just let it go. But and I'm starting to think that maybe if I start to act on the impressions or whatever they are, then maybe something will happen. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if if I'm talking crazy or yeah.
You will decide in that. My experience in doing the stress reduction program, when the patients start to, their mind start to go into a stillness with the practice. People that come sent by their physicians, and many of them with conflict of all kind, physical, emotional, mental, but there is a total switch because they move from thinking to understanding. From thinking to understanding. And that is the idea of the practice of dharana, on whatever way we do it, is to help the thinking mind to start to quiet down, and then the quiet mind to show up. And the quiet mind is pure understanding, comprehension, without needing to use words. Without needing to use, is the deep intuition that comes to you. And happen to people that are illiterate, that never went to school, that they had never learned to read or to write. And the wisdom that comes through them is incredible. When the thinking mind, the feeling I am inadequate, I am a nobody, I was not able to go there, and that all that chatting stops, then something beautiful show up. Something become present. And then when they finally are able to talk and contribute and participate, is wisdom what is coming through in very simple words, in their own vocabulary. But it's pure understanding. It's pure understanding. They got it. I got it. I don't need to feel bad anymore. This old gentleman from Puerto Rico, I gave them the poem of Rumi, the guest house. And I was needing to tell him twice or three times because he's the one who didn't know how to read or write. And the following week he came and says, teacher, please, yes, tell me. Says, I put that poem, the piece of paper, in my bathroom on the mirror. And I says, why you did that? Says, because when I shave in the mornings, I remember that one there in that poem is me. I recognize myself. I recognize myself. And that is the pure wisdom. And you see one person, another person, another person. For that reason, when I started to teach this program, and the only thing was to come to the breath, I told myself, that is what I was missing after learning all this yoga and taking all these trainings and doing all this thing. That is what I was missing. Just to completely surrender to the breathe in and to the breathe out 24 hours a day, and help the busy mind to stop interfering with all kinds of complications, going in 100,000 directions, or with theories from books. You need to, a monk in Spain, in the monastery of Poblet, we did the tour of the monastery, and he was showing us the whole place. And he told the first thing, says, wherever your feet are, that is your home. Period. And what keeps you alive is the breath, not you are a dentist or this or that. No, breathing is what keeps you alive. And when they asked him, can you tell us what is the best book in all the library that you have here in the monastery? The answer was, there is not a best book. How could be? Is not the Bible for you, Father? Says, no. The books were written by someone and are the opinions of someone. No matter if he's Saint Luke's or Patanjali. And says, well, if that is your opinion, Father, and 2 minutes later, he comes and says, oh, I remember now of a book, a very, very, very special book. Really? And it's a very special monastery. Tell us, Father. See, the monastery is this, the physical body, your body, with everything. The book is inside there. You need to go in every day, but you need to learn how to read it. You need to learn how to read it. And every human being needs to learn to do that, to move in and read inside, because if you discover that within yourself, you are discovering the whole humanity, because we are representing the whole humanity. That is the point. In this case, that breath was the doorway to move within, start to clean everything out, move into that garden that we came to this life with, to cultivate your garden, your dharma, your duty, not the garden of others. Each one has their own responsibility, your own responsibility. And I'm sorry, I go on and on, but
We have one question here from Mariana. Hello, Fernando. How do we know if a certain technique of concentration might be dangerous? Would you recommend Ernest Wood's book, Concentration, a Practical Course?
yes, I read that book and I did some practices, but again, when I took my yoga trainings in Canada, and we had 2 very intense months, we learned some Sanskrit, we learned singing, we learned everything there. I try everything, and in Theosophists told me, go very careful with pranayama and with holding the breath, and don't do this and don't do that. Says, if I don't do it, how I go to know what it is? In this case, I did it, but I selected what I thought was useful, and I put aside what I thought was not useful, that was just a distraction, that was just a pretending, that was just to want to get enlightenment in 3 days. No, I didn't have any interest on it. In this case, yeah, explore. Believe this, I have 3,000 books in my library, in Spanish and in English. And I tell my grandkids, says, I don't think one of those books, I have not visited any, I always visit those books. But it's it. Each author has their own interpretation. Try, if it's useful to you, fine. If not, put it aside. Put it aside. What John Kabat-Zinn told me when I joined the clinic, says, Fernando, never imitate me, never imitate anyone. Do the things based on what you know. And teach from what you know, from your own platform, because then will be authentic. Stop repeating things that other people taught. Learn from them, but then make it yours. And when you understand it, it becomes part of you. When you understand it, that becomes your truth. Of course, will change because you continue growing. You continue growing, and is what Robert was saying before about that idea of emptiness. Consciousness is pure emptiness. Consciousness is everywhere, is eternal. but is limited by the forms in which moves in, no matter if it's the mineral, the animal, the human being, the cell, but is the totality. For that reason, it's not just emptiness, it's fullness. Everything is there. And there is where the question comes, and what reincarnates? And someone came with a strange question, and I started to reflect on it, and I said, wait a minute. I think I started to understand deeply some other things. Anyway, we have another 2 months if we continue doing these meditations and all this. Let's see, we can go more. Okay.
Yeah, there are a few who had to go to work, and I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, and we can depart. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are grateful for the beautiful session.
Yes, muchas gracias, Brother Fernando.
De nada. And next Thursday night, Friday, will be just the 20 minutes of meditation, but we will do a different style, okay?
All right.
Next stage.
Thank you, Maria,
Thank
and
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Fernando.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Bye,
Sister
everybody.
Maria.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.